You're listening to the Gameday Tarps podcast with your hosts, Ryley, Dakota, Dallas, Daeden, Colton, and Wilbs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Gameday Tarps podcast. This is episode 59, and today we're going to be going over some playoff recaps. And boy, there is a lot of headlines stirring up in the NHL. So without further ado, let's get into this episode, boys.
What do you guys like? I mean, I'm going to go to the series that's the most shocking, I think, and that's the LA and Edmonton one, because, like, what the fuck is going on there? The Harmonic Kings, as I like to call them, are just absolutely dummying the Edmonton Oilers. Granted, Edmonton got the win back in their home barn, so good for them. But
yeah, we've seen this, like,
Draisaitl are getting shut down. What's happening?
Not really, though. McDavid got 5 points in that one game, and Draisaitl scored every game. It's not a, but also I think you were the only one who picked the Oilers when we were talking about it. I think you were the only one.
2-0-6.
So.
Are we gonna forget about what we talked about last episode?
Yeah,
Mr. Philip Deneau.
Yeah.
Guy shuts people down.
Shuts
people down.
And he scored an OT winner too. Like, big flex on the Oilers here. Like, they're getting shut down. Like, this, it might be Oilers versus Kings part 4, but they got the Oilers number this year. Like, the Oilers are gonna be embarrassed, and this is something I kind of wanted to get into. Like, who actually is playing worse here? Connor Hellebuyck in the St. Louis Jets series?
Or
Skinner versus Darcy Kemper?
Skinner.
Holy.
Well, it's hard. They're both playing bad.
It's Hellebuyck.
But Skinner,
everybody knew Skinner was going to be shit. And people didn't think
Skinner had 12 goals in 2 games. 12 in 2 games.
Yeah, but Helly's 1-8 in his last 9 road games in the playoffs with a 3.48 GAA. So
yeah, but technically Stuart Skinner's lost his last 4 or 5 playoff games,
and he's lost because he lost 2 technically with a 6 GAA in that case. Then with 2 games,
yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, it's not shocking that Stuart Skinner sucks. It's more shocking that the Vezina caliber goaltender is shitting the bed.
But it's not.
He'll probably claim that he's playing the best hockey of his career again,
like he did last year.
Because what was it? What was the stat I saw? 2 years ago he was like 8.89. Last year's playoffs he was 8.59, and this year he's 8.4 through their 4 games. Like, his save percentage is terrible in the playoffs, and I think some guys just
0.859. Not 8 point. Because that'd be a crazy goal average.
Sorry, 0.859 is what I mean. 85.9%. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
but you know what I mean. Like, he hasn't had above a 900 save percentage in the playoffs in the last 3 years, when he's arguably been the best goalie in the league. Because that's when Vazzy kind of got hurt and was down, and Hellebuyck just kind of stepped in, and there was 1 year of Sturkin thinking he was it, and then the rest has been Hellebuyck from there. And
it's always the headline too, right? Like, why can't the Oilers really solidify their goaltending situation? Like, you have Calvin Pickard, right, who's 33 years old, and he is your reliable backup for Stuart Skinner, right? Like, I think the Oilers are going to get washed mainly because of their goaltending situation. And not to mention, boys, like, let's put Evan Bouchard on the spot for a second here. His defensive play not only is letting Stuart Skinner being hung out to dry for all these goals against, but, like, you're only as good as your defense in front of you. And Evan Bouchard is waving his stick out like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and just poke my stick out, and hopefully the puck touches it. No, Quentin Byfield just absolutely walks you and roofs it on Stuart Skinner. Like, that's one instance, just one, right? One instance, but it has been horrible. Like, I think they're just imploding on themselves. They got a lot of, like, too much swagger heading into these playoffs, thinking like, oh yeah, we'll be back, this year to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, it's kind of reality's kind of hitting hard, and it's like the Kings are kind of getting your number, and they're actually going to be the ones to advance, I think.
I'll compare this to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won their cups. They had McDonough with Chernak, right? We trade McDonough for cap reasons to Nashville. Chernak by himself, absolute yardstick out there. one of the worst plus minuses on the team, can't anchor a defensive pair on his own. So what do? We go out and we trade to get back Ryan McDonough, and now Chernak is one of the best defensive defensemen in the league again. Same thing here. Bouchard had Ekholm all last playoffs to cover for all of his mistakes. And now he has no Ekholm, and Nurse isn't that good at covering. Nurse is more of like a caught in between kind of guy. Then who else do they have? Ty Emberson, Troy Stetcher, John Klingberg, right? Like who are they relying on? There's Jake Wallman, who's actually not playing that good right now, unfortunately for them. So like there's no one that can cover up how bad Bouchard is playing, and then the offense isn't coming. So
Except
it's
he scored
just
2 goals last game.
He did. He scored 2 goals last game, but you know what I mean though. Like in the games that they lost, it was
But he played like
way
a
downhill.
this game. So.
Yeah.
And you need a balanced depth too, right? Like, yes, you can get all 4 lines clicking, at all cylinders, but still, like, when you predominantly just have your McDavids and your Draisaitl scoring, like, you're not going to get far in the playoffs. Like, yes, they are God sent. Yes, they are very talented individuals, but you cannot get to the finals alone on just Draisaitl's and McDavid's goals. Like, you need all 4 lines clicking, and especially your 3 lines of defensive pairs clicking all cylinders and not playing like absolute fucking shit. And then the big, full circle here, having to have Stuart Skinner pulled again because he's playing like ass, right?
Well, Helly got pulled today too. Again.
He did, yeah. It was a 5-1 minute or St. Louis win, right?
Let's take it back to the 2016 run that the Oilers went on, and 2 of their best players were Zach Cassian and Drake Caggiula. So it's like those depth guys are crazy important, and they're not showing up at all.
Well, their top 6 is bottom 6 is what an average age of 33. Of course.
Their bottom 6 is about the same as an average AHL team.
Yeah, it's Perry, it's Henrique, it's Arvidsson, it's Skinner. And Skinner's playing his first playoff game. So there's going to be like, even though you're a 10-year NHL vet, you're going to be nervous that you're in your first ever play. And he's about to lose his first ever round.
I just love how you disrespected my boy's name like that. Oh, just absolutely down bad. You?
Stu? Or
no.
Skinner?
Henrique, buddy? It's Henrique, brother. Spitfire's legend, baby.
Okay.
Henrique, buddy.
I am from Quebec. It's Henrique. No, just kidding. I don't know. Whatever. Adam Henrique, sure.
He's Spanish, actually. It's Enrique.
Oh, there it is. But you know what I mean? Like their bottom 6 is just
what?
It's not there.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not that important. He is French. It is Enrique, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Dano in 6.
Yes.
I want to. Yeah, Dano in 6. Oilers are getting cooked. Stuart Skinner sucks. Okay, next series. I want to go to Colorado and Dallas because their fucking captain returned, and that was absolutely insane to see.
And he fucking scored.
To see him score that goal and see that place like blow up literally and become like a zoo, incredible. You can't like hate on Landeskog or that sport or that moment or anything. Beautiful moment for him and for that club.
Nearly a minute and a half later, after they even announced the goal that he scored too, like Ball Arena was still lighting up, right?
Yeah.
Just waving their rally towels. Like, they were so happy. This was his first goal since June 20th, 2022, right? It's nearly 3 years ago. Like, that is incredible. Like, they've been hyping him up for a while, but finally to bring him back into the lineup at home, right, in the playoffs, that was incredible. And for him to score, like, that was just something else. That's awesome.
It reminded me of when Max Pacioretty got absolutely killed by Zdeno Chara into the turnbuckle, and then was out for like a whole season and a half or whatever. Then he finally came back, and he had the C on his chest. It was a good thing. It's always nice to see when your captain is coming back like that.
Yeah, like Stamkos.
Scott Van Pelt tweeted about fucking Landeskog's goal. Like, the dude's the biggest fucking sports broadcaster in the world, and he's like talking about how beautiful hockey is because of what Landeskog just did. So
yeah,
hats off to them. And I know Ryley's gonna hate on the Avs and on Landy in a second, so we'll let him do that.
Why would I hate on Landy?
You were getting mad about them doing the cap thing with
No. Landy is the perfect. No. This is what I was saying. Landy is the perfect use of LTIR. He was out for 2 years, 2 whole years. And then what I found stupid was Kane noted his injury, right? Surgery in the offseason. Kane missed the whole season. Landy missed 2 whole seasons, went to the AHL, played some games to get ready for the playoffs. The NHL kind of watched both teams and said, oh, you know, they couldn't play the end of the year. They better not play at the start of the playoffs.
Mark Stone.
Right? And then here's Matthew Tkachuk. Yeah. But, okay, again, Kucherov had hip surgery in the offseason. He had exact time frame of that, which, okay, to the day, absolutely BS. It was probably a week or 2 off. Everyone knows this. But I'm just talking about mainly how Matthew Tkachuk wasn't monitored. No one even knew his injury. He was undisclosed the whole time. They never really said what exactly it was. And then he comes back, looks healthy as a baby horse out there, scoring 2 goals, getting an assist his first game. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, why was Landy monitored so hard? Why was Kane monitored so hard? And then Tkachuk was just able to come back. And again, I'm someone who's all for this LTIR rule because Tampa had it happen to them with Kane in 2015. They did a vote offseason 2015. Tampa was the only team in the NHL to say, no, we do not want the cap to go away in the playoffs. We want to cap it. All 31 other teams voted for it because Tampa was the only one that got screwed over. So Tampa used it, and then Vegas used it. And is it cheeky and weird? Absolutely. But if they're going to check in on a guy like Landeskog and Kane, then they should check in on all these guys doing it. You know what I mean? Like, they just, again, there's no consistency in the NHL on so many weird rules. Like, this isn't a rule, but it's a rule, right? Like,
it's a rule.
Yeah, it is, but it's not. Right?
It's a rule, but it's not a rule.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Ryley just said. It's stupid. But, okay, going back to Florida and Tampa, Matthew Tkachuk comes back, totally fine, and then absolutely decimates Jake Gensel yesterday with that.
Here's where he gets mad.
Yeah, here's where I'm frustrated.
I showed time.
That's where he gets angry now. But
let's just
think about both clean.
Yes. So, well, I agree that, like, I don't think Hagel's was that clean. Like, here, I do think Hagel thought that Barkov reached out and got a piece of the puck. I do think that when Barkov reached out, Hagel had a split decision to take the player or go after the puck, and he chose to take the player. Barkov didn't get the puck. It just, that to me, that's a split-second timing decision, right? And Hagel made the wrong play, ends up, kind of temporarily injuring Barkov. Barkov came back, all was fine, right? But then you look at the Tkachuk one, and Gensel passes the puck up to Ryley, gets it back, backhands it, and is watching Ryley going on a breakaway. Tkachuk knows Ryley's on a breakaway. Full on. He sees it, empty net. He knows game is over. With Gensel's head facing this direction, Tkachuk comes in from here, plants one right into his chest, blindsides him, and Gensel smashes his face off the ice. And the NHL doesn't think that's worth disciplinary activity. I just wish that they would get it right all the way along. And I heard even so let's go to Wilson and Anderson fighting in the bench, right? Like that whole situation where for years, for 20 years, if you fought around the bench, if you were a player on the bench grabbing a player on the ice, it was a major suspension. So Hagel gets suspended. Oh, go ahead.
One thing I do want to add, the only reason they ended up in the bench was because the door was open, and then Anderson was going back. He fell into the bench and then just stood up. He was on the bench, and then there's Wilson in your face. So
exactly.
But yeah, still, they did end up on the bench.
Yeah, and with a linesman doing his best in between them. So they're not on the ice. They have an official trying to break them up, and they continue to fight.
And the assistant coach was just sitting there watching it like this. Like,
he actually picked up a stick and defended himself, too.
I didn't see that. I did not see that.
He picked up a stick and held it like this so he could defend himself. So.
Could you imagine being a linesman in between a fight with Anderson and Tom Wilson, and you're just sitting there and they're just feeding each other 15 good ones to the face?
There's a reason why he couldn't do anything.
I saw the one linesman. The one linesman was sitting there, and his helmet was his visor was supposed to be here. It was moved up. His helmet was pushed back. He was reaching in like this to try and grab someone. It was crazy.
I know, but my point on this is the NHL has been so strict on bench clearing brawls, on players leaving the bench to fight an illegal line change to come fight someone, to jump into a bench to fight someone. And all of a sudden these two, they ended up on the bench. It should have just died with a linesman in between them, right? It should have been okay, we're in a bad spot here. So they go and do that. They're not suspended. Kachuk doesn't get suspended. There have been numerous. Exactly. There have
Do
been
you
numerous.
honestly? Do you honestly think there needs to be a new review on the head of NHL Department of Safety? Like, this has just been getting out of hand. Like, we've seen a lot of this stuff going down.
The head of Department of Safety's on the back of that jersey right there, so it's why it's not turned around. Like, he doesn't need to be running the Department of Player Safety. Why is a former fighter enforcer running that shit? Like, I get it's about, like, maybe he knows the most about head contact and head injuries, and he's he's an Ivy League graduate, so he's like super smart. He went to Princeton and all that shit, but like, obviously with the inconsistencies over the years, it's been nothing but fucking dog shit. So
yeah, that's the key word, Coleman. Inconsistency.
How is there not like a vote to remove him? Like,
yeah. And like John Cooper had an interview today. Now John Cooper was a lawyer, so he finessed his way out of this, I think, a little bit. But he just talked about how hard their job is, and I get that the job is hard. But Hagel, to me, it's you can come. So Hagel's was more violent. Hagel's was in a worse position. Agreed. Hagel's though was a minute or like a second by second choice.
Yeah.
Kachuk's was he noticed a player in a vulnerable position. He turned his entire body into that player and hit that player without them knowing it was coming and with the puck not there. Right? So to me, like they're the same, but they're different in their own ways. And one was a little worse physically. One was a little worse in terms of actually meaning to do it. I just don't know how they both don't end up in the same result. But hopefully for Tampa, it spurs them on to something here and it gets them fired up because Hagel was so pumped after the game. So I hope that that now that he's back for Game 4, things go crazy because Tampa needs it. I mean, those first two games out, you guys saw me in the chat. I mean, it was over. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Yeah, my 1,000 messages in 2 days.
Guy was crashing out.
I was furious. Like, but I was mad at Tampa because it was like I could see how the games were going, and it was like, oh, this is going to end up in the net. They iced it after a 2-minute shift in their own defensive zone. Yep, there it is in the net. Penalty kill was 0 for 3 to start the series. 3 straight power play goals. It was just like everything that they wanted to do. I think, the first 2 goals were tips where defensemen were leaving guys open in front of the net. Like it just, it was just falling apart. And I was just like, holy cow. But now that they've won a game, got some momentum going, hopefully they can start something here.
Well, they're ultimately back in the series now. So time to, all right, back in the saddle, boys. Back in the saddle.
Yep. Let's get off my crazy mind.
For Daeden's sake, it's Dobish and Thompson.
Saw that.
But that could be good though. If Thompson's hurt, even if you guys have a healthy backup, that could still be the better goaltender.
The dude's probably on like 8 types of painkillers right now. He's probably fine.
Actually, quickly, I want to. Is this a slap in the face to Charlie Lindgren, who they literally just gave a $5 million contract to that they don't trust him?
They gave a similar contract to Logan, did they not?
Yeah, but don't you? They've talked all year about how they trust both goalies. Why do you not just trust Lindgren to go in versus if they're playing their backup? Trust Lindgren to go be the better goalie and let Thompson rest.
I mean, after that last game, I mean, Montreal was at 6-2 final, like
6-3, bud.
6-3, close enough, buddy. Dano and 6.
How many went in on Lindgren though?
1.
Okay, so 5 went in on Thompson. He's hurt, and they're still choosing to play him over the guy who let in 1 and is healthy. I don't know.
Maybe because Montreal's got some momentum behind them right now. They're like, we just got to win at all costs. They're not taking any chances against the Habs.
They might. New Jersey basically is ending right now, and Carolina looks like they're going to take a 3-1 series lead. I mean, not that, like, New Jersey's really making this series, but they won 1 game in shocking fashion, I guess. But,
exactly.
I mean, they're also cooked on injuries. So what do you guys make of that one? Because pretty sure I said it was a sweep or 5 games, and it's looking like it, right? So
this is for Carolina and New Jersey,
I said 5 because I remember editing it. And someone said I gave the benefit of the doubt, and I did give the Devils the benefit of the doubt. They will win a game.
It took double overtime to do it.
They won it just for you, Day.
Yeah,
I know.
If they don't have the injuries
What is it now?
they probably play a bit better. But
that game, so it's about to be 3-1. It's 4-2 with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, Martin
right now.
Scored, so it's over.
Yeah.
But you never count out the Devils.
But
Buddy.
it's like New Jersey.
Cakewalk.
Yeah, no, New Jersey's like proving that a team like that shouldn't make the playoffs.
Let's add their injured players back in. And they're not bad.
They have the worst record. They have the worst record since when did Jack Hughes get injured? Early January? They have the worst record in the league since Jack Hughes got injured.
I know. But if they had Jack
4-28 or something like that, or whatever I heard. It was like 4 or 5 wins and 20 plus losses. So like in that scenario, like New Jersey should just be able to go, we surrender. We're not gonna play. You guys
but at the same time, like the team in the first half of the year, they earned it. Right? Like clearly because they were the worst team in the NHL and they still made the playoffs.
When one player molds your whole team together like that and then you lose them and all the wheels fall off, that says a lot about the team.
Yep.
Well, okay, but they lost Dougie Hamilton for 2 months. They lost Brendan Dillon. Now they've lost Luke Hughes. And they lost whoever the heck else they lost. Right?
Jack
like
Siegenthaler.
Well, the Jack and Siegenthaler. And like, all of a sudden that's 3 of their top 4 defensemen plus their best centerman. Like, that's a lot of toll to put on this team. And yes, Dougie's back, but I don't know. To me, and then, it's Jacob Markstrom in net. Like, he's playing fantastic, apparently, but he's never been a strong playoff goaltender. Everybody knows that. Vancouver and now Calgary and then New Jersey now, right? So
that's true.
That's just my take.
Nah, I get it.
I mean, Dallas is kind of going through the same thing, but look at them, right? They're still, saddling up. Their, series is tied 2-2 with Colorado, and they got 2 big stars out of the lineup. So I don't know. New Jersey has to make it work.
But Dallas has been fighting for their life, luckily scoring overtime goals and leading for 2 minutes in the series. Like that, theirs is very situational. They're very good defensively as a team, but Colorado just kind of finds a way to get it done now. But yeah, like that's just a different. Like New Jersey's not that team. New Jersey's not a defensive team. They're an all-out offense team that leaks goals but outscores. And when they can't outscore, they're just leaking goals.
And it's also a different, change of pace, different play style too. Like you got to think like Peter DeBoer, Pete DeBoer, and then, versus like Sheldon Keefe's situation, right? Like Pete DeBoer's got better playoff experience, with his club, as in, New Jersey's instance with,
Well, it's Brenda Moore. Or are you talking about Dallas? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. The similarities of the injuries with
here.
Dallas and New Jersey, right? They just buy into DeBoer's plan, right? And because of how deep Dallas is, they can play, they can compete with, a really solid team with Colorado. So I don't know, just New Jersey's kind of have to saddle up, rally around the boys, and try to at least get a couple more. But I said, cakewalk.
My last argument to you though, Colton, is who would have been better, right? Like who would you rather in? Would you rather Columbus? Would you rather Detroit?
Yes.
Detroit wouldn't have been bad.
At least would have made it to the series.
The Rangers, the Islanders, right?
The Rangers could have.
I don't want the Rangers to play as bad as they did all year and deserve to get in. At least the Devils started so hot.
No, but
why would they earned
it. The Devils have less points than the Calgary fucking Flames. Why are they in the playoffs?
Because they have more points than the Columbus Blue Jackets.
So exactly, that's my point though, is it needs to be reseeded and redone correctly because a team like New Jersey should not be making the playoffs.
But if it was
128 in your final 3 months, you should not be making the playoffs. So when they get swept, or not swept, but when they lose next game, they're not going to bounce back and be good next year either. Anybody that thinks they're going to cakewalk the playoffs next year is full of shit.
But if they win
next game,
if they went 4-28,
do good.
Right?
What's
but
that?
if they went 4-28, let's say, right?
I don't know
they
what
lost.
The exact stat was.
I know, but let's just say they lost a total of 40 games. So they had only lost, let's say, 12 games before that, and they had won 35-38.
Yes.
Right? Like, really, they were a good team. They just had injuries at the row. So I don't mind them being in. They earned it. They just have to understand the reality that they're not going to go any farther. Like, no, none of these teams, not Columbus, not Detroit, not the Rangers, not the Islanders, not the Penguins, none of them were going to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. It doesn't matter because the two teams in the wild card are Atlantic. So it would have been one of these Metro, so obviously not Detroit, but it would have been one of these Metro teams, Columbus, New York, or Pittsburgh. And none of them would have done any different. So I'm for New Jersey being in.
Change the seating. Make it better.
Back to 1-8.
Make a play-in series so teams like New Jersey have to make a play-in in order to fucking play the playoffs.
Well, that's kind of what I heard too, Colton, was like on the radio the other day. It's like maybe the NHL can kind of review their situation. Like, you know how the NBA has been doing recently, their in-season play-in tournament? Like, maybe the NHL could look into something like that. What do you guys kind of think of an in-season tournament?
No, that's stupid. Like, that literally, like, I don't think the NHL is that big of a problem. That's like we saw that because the NBA needed some reason to make the regular season stand out and have some importance to players. I don't think the regular season has that big an effect yet on the NHL.
No, because in the NBA you can win an entire season with 5 players.
Yeah,
right. Like 100%. that can determine
maybe.
Your whole season. So the players, right, they've been playing for 2 months and they're bored. They're scoring 35 points a night, right? Their centerman's getting 15 rebounds a night, right? Like he's averaging a double-double. Like they're just bored. They're going out versus easy teams and winning. So here, there's way more parity in the NHL than there is in the NBA. And there's way less super team trading. There's way less stacking up. Well, yeah, but okay, so in the NBA, there's literally like 16 bad teams and 16 good teams for the most part. Like at least the NHL has like 5 really bad teams, 5 super good teams, and then a good middle pack, whereas the NBA doesn't have it. There's no good middle pack in the NBA.
So, yeah, no, that's fair. I guess, yeah, that's fair.
It's just because the trading is so rampant and stars move from a bad team to a good team and stack a good team. And we just, the NHL went crazy this year because Mikko Rantanen got traded twice. And like Kevin Durant is like one of the best players in NBA history. And he's been traded like 5 times in the last 6 or 7 years. So like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not the same type of player movement.
Or you could be like an absolute dummy, trade your 1 star away, right, to the Lakers, right? And, Doncic. So that was, wow.
You know what, though?
Anthony Davis, man, holy.
The one thing that I think NBA could give NHL is the jerseys. Constant different jerseys, tons of different ideas. And like, I think they do like 15 jerseys a year that they're changing, right? Like that's something I can see the NHL getting into. Not just, okay, here's our home away, our third. If we're lucky enough to do an outdoor game, here's our outdoor game jersey. Like
and that's the beautiful thing about the NBA too, is like they have all these jerseys, right? Like you're always on Fanatics. They got some cool designs that they've been coming out with, their City Connects. Like I know, like I've got quite a few Raptors jerseys over the years, and like I really love the designs that they've came out with. Like maybe the NHL could really start looking into something like that. Like baseball, Major League Baseball, they have been starting to do that too now with their new City Connect jerseys. They've already went around the horn with all the teams, and now they've been coming out with a second series, right? 2.0 City Connect. So
he's he's loading up.
I'm just saying that the NHL should really look into more jerseys. Toronto Blue Jays, perfect example, right?
Beauty.
So they should.
Yeah, they honestly should.
Because think about it. It's $200. It's $200 a jersey, American, right? Like what is the negative about getting different designs out in the field? It'll be really cool, like when Gary Bettman's not there, to see maybe a more forward-thinking guy come in and just totally change the marketing landscape of the NHL, which would be really cool to see. Not have it be so conservative, have it be more outgoing, more players in media situations, more flashiness in terms of uniforms, like the different helmet thing, right? You can where, you know, blue helmets with white jerseys or white helmets with blue jerseys, right? When teams can switch it up this year, I think that's a great idea. I don't think they should have to really declare it. They just can't wear the same color versus the same color. That should be the only rule.
And that's just basically it, right? Like the two sides of the coin. Like you can come up with all these ideas, but then the big thing that I really always think about is what you talked about, Ryley, was the pricing. And that's what I always have a gripe about with if it's Fanatics or whoever is supplying the jerseys and all these, you know, apparel, merchandising, whatever. It's always what comes down to the pricing. Like, you know, you want a logo for, let's say, the Pittsburgh Penguins on a pair of sweatpants that are like maybe like that big, $90 alone before, you know, delivery, before taxes. Like, and then the jerseys themselves are like almost $300 American. Like, who has that kind of money right now? Like, not the average fan that just wants to have, you know, their favorite player on their favorite jersey of their favorite team. But no, let's just go out and spend $300. Like, I don't think a piece of clothing should be that much money. I think it is absolutely ridiculous. Basketball jerseys are a little bit more lenient. They're only like $90. But come on, a fucking hockey jersey is like $300 before taxes. Like, get out of here. You want to talk about price gouging? Take note, the Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western Hockey League, you want a blank jersey with their logo on the front. No problem. $400 starting.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's just, you're basically, yes, you're buying the logo, the merchandising right to it, whatever, but still, like, come the fuck on, man. The average
Canadian
fan
or
wants
American?
a jersey. American. 400 American.
That's wild.
Everett's
like
no
480
different.
here.
Everett is no different too. It's just
but they have DuPont.
This right here,
Theirs went up.
this right here, $50. DH gate.
No, that's not.
Sorry, Schultze, I wasn't friend of the show. We literally just had him on half an hour ago. I wasn't paying $250. I'm too broke.
That's okay.
Well, that's just it, right? It's just like you want a jersey for your favorite player, your favorite team, right? That just goes back to the whole money issue, right? It's like, why does it have to, you know, be an arm and a leg for a goddamn piece of clothing? I just don't get it. Like, these teams are already making enough revenue. Like, you want more revenue? Guess what? Lower the prices. More fans will go out and buy your shit, right?
It doesn't have the C on it.
Buddy, you got to go to a local guy there.
Is that Schulte's jersey?
Yeah.
Well, you got the last year's model, I guess.
I did too, because you know what else because it's still the old logo too, the old Q logo.
Yeah, there you go. Last year's model.
That's how you can
Right
tell
on.
it's a fake.
Oh yeah, no shit, it's DH gate.
All right,
I
who's
mean, I
next,
can't-
Golden? Who's our next series that you want to cover here?
Toronto and Ottawa? You want to talk about it? I don't know.
Battle of Ontario.
I'm just shit stomping them, so.
Yeah, because Ottawa had 2 fans make a song. Look at the Canucks. That jinxed them. Never have a fan make a song. It will kill you. It is the biggest FU to the hockey gods, and they go, watch this. Your team's cooked.
Speaking of songs, side note, right? Because, you know, Rogers owns the Toronto Maple Leafs too, right? So basically, what's with that song on Sportsnet for that NHL commercial right now? It's like, lay it on.
Yeah, it's lay it on the line.
They play that 4 times a commercial. Shit you not. It's like, that's going to be stuck on our heads for the next 100 fucking years, man.
I know.
Like,
I've been telling everyone that's been watching at my house too, like my family stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's a cool commercial." I'm like, "It is the first 10 times." I said, "Then you see it." Like I said, I've probably seen it 600 or 700 times because I've watched almost every game. Like,
have you guys watched
crazy.
the hype video that the NHL posted though about that one certain song that they've been using, "Get the Job Done" or whatever the hell it's called?
Maybe. I don't know.
I want you to do some research. Go look it up. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I won't mention it on the podcast. But the meanings of that song is just something totally different that I think just went right over the NHL's head. Like, just go listen to it and go find the meaning behind it. But it's fucked up.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if they just didn't know that, or it's just like, but like, come on, NHL.
They're like, we're just using a snippet. It's fine.
I
Never
don't know. To know for.
But yeah, I mean, Toronto's going to win this series versus Ottawa. There's no way Ottawa climbs out. Maple Leafs fans are going to have the biggest heads they've ever had. They're already yelling, "We want Florida." Like, what is wrong with these idiots?
How'd that work last time for you?
What is wrong with these idiots? Like, even if they do get Florida, it's Bobrovsky versus Stolars.
Yeah, if that comes down to it, then the real starting goalie kind of comes into effect. Bob's been there, done that. Stolars has been there, done that, but he's been on the bench behind Bob. So he's never.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, he's just never got the chance to play. So I think if they come down to it, and the deeper team is Florida. Let's be honest. Sure. I don't think Toronto has a chance in that one.
Even if it is like either way, no matter who they play, they're either playing against a goalie that went to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals or the last 2. And both of them have been to every Stanley Cup final in this whole 2020 decade. So either way, they're not having a goaltender that's easy to play against, no matter who it ends up being.
No. Not at all. Not at all. I think that's all the series, really.
No, you didn't talk about Minnesota Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
My favorite series.
Minnesota talk about a wild card team really coming in clutch.
Well, they got healthy. What did they say?
Kaprizov is good.
Well, no, but they said Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek missed a combined 77 games this year, and then Jared Spurgeon missed 52 or something on top of that. So, like, not having those 3 players in the lineup, that changes everything. And now they're all back and healthy, and they're just like, watch us cook.
Yeah, but here's my thing, though, too. Like, did you guys watch Middleton fan on the shot yesterday? Like, if he didn't fan on that shot and got that breakout pass, like, it could be a 3-1 series lead for Mini right now, boys.
For sure.
But, like, just because, he did, and then Barbashev was able to capitalize, and now it's a 2-2 series, I'm like, but hey, you know what? Kudos to them for sticking with it, right? With Vegas. Like, who had Mini actually competing well with Vegas? I would have loved to see it, for sure. I'm glad. But holy shit, like, what a series this is going to become. Same with St. Louis, Winnipeg, right? Both another wildcard team facing a the President's Trophy winners, right? So 2-2 series.
I want to mention how good Pavel Dorofeyev's been for Vegas. He was someone that I kind of really didn't notice coming into the playoffs, and then first game had a goal. He's really taken over that top guy's spot on the power play. Jack Eichel hasn't really shown up. Dorofeyev now sits over on the right-hand half wall for the one-timer.
Yep. I do think and this was what I was thinking the other night, like, Vegas is missing one critical piece, and he's a really small, really good goal-scoring forward named Jonathan Marchessault, who has been their playoff catalyst every year. And I know he had a bad year in Nashville, but everyone had a bad year in Nashville. So you have Jonathan Marchessault on this team, like, the guy drove this team emotionally. He drove them with heart. He put goals in the back of the net at timely opportunities. Like, they're missing him. You can tell.
It's like when they signed Kessel and everyone thought it was going to be a breakout thing. No, they don't need Kessel. They need Marchessault.
They just had a big hot dog expense. That's all they got with Kessel.
Yeah.
They thought they were getting, prime 2016 Stanley Cup Finals Phil Kessel when he was going up against Nashville.
True. That's all the series now. That's definitely all the series.
But go Kirill Kaprizov. That dude's quite literally making it known that he's a top 7 player in the world.
Yep.
So
I agree.
But Kirill Kaprizov Jr. is about to light it up here at the Bell Center.
Is that Demidov?
Yes.
That's true.
What do they start in 20 minutes?
That's all the series. We will we'll come back with a full recap of round 1 and obviously round 2 predictions and foremost after that, and keep going through all the rounds and see who comes out on top. I mean, none of our teams have been eliminated yet that we've picked to win the cup, so soon enough they'll be eliminated, I'm sure. But hey.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Give us a like, subscribe on YouTube, follow us everywhere that you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you guys in episode 60 of the Gameday Tarps podcast.